And that's for the piggies in every US city thinking a seat in the back row is Porsche because of European history. They miss seeing the monocle though, so I be in the front row on days I am making dough. All alone, in the zone, on the phone, until the trailers go off the screen, along with all those production companies that never did a thing for me. Things that would have prevented me from paying to see Virgin Punk Clockwork Girl if I had known better before the screening. First, the theater chain I went to see it at did not disclose that this film was a short. Second, I had no idea that this film would be one of those animes featuring a teenager involved in erotica. As a US viewer, Clockwork Girl makes me uncomfortable since the focus surrounds a 14-year-old girl who essentially becomes a sex slave and plots revenge on her overbearing master. Umetsu attempts to get around this heavy subject matter by throwing in a technocratic overlay and making all of the characters bounty hunters that engage in these over-the-top battles to capture the criminals on their wanted list. So over the top, the property damage in these battles look like the beginning of Zack Snyder's Dawn of Justice. But that's about as wholesome as Clockwork Girl gets here in comparison to US media made for Comic-Con. The criminals in this flick consistently target children and the elderly in ways that I've only seen on screen before through Damien Leone's Terrifier series. Of course, as a Westerner, seeing blood rain on the face of a cyborg schoolgirl bounty hunter after she decapitates a mass murderer that looks like 6ix9ine would elicit applause from my seat. But explosions, gore, and nipples were not enough to distract me from the unsettling hang-up of the pedophilic nature of the main antagonist in this film, an eccentric pimp known as Elegance. What I did like about the plot, despite that feature, was that the tail had legs. Elegance was a sick villain who I know any audience would love to see get put down, and the nature of this revenge tale would easily be able to teach a lesson to the stereotypical anime audience member who may want to think twice about the idea of essentially owning a woman through domestic monogamy after watching a movie like Clockwork Girl. Sadly, though, the creators of this feature took the lazy route and only put out the pilot episode and loaded it with bonus behind-the-scenes content I could care less about. I didn't pay $15 to see a documentary in a foreign language. I would have loved to get more of a resolution to this film with a couple more episodes added in like Demon Slayers to the Swordsmith Village. I was honestly expecting a full feature-length film like Ghost in the Shell 2.0. Both of these options would have been better than putting out this pilot in theaters in such a lazy way used to not only juice Western viewers for their money, but also to test their tolerance of Japanese culture and their perversions, which is an acquired taste, like US blondes laying on top of muscle cars. Pop your popcorn, that's for the piggies in every US city thinking a seat in the back row is Porsche because of European history. They miss seeing the monocle though, so I be in the front row on days I am making dough. All alone, in the zone, on the phone, until the trailers go off the screen, along with all those production companies that never did a thing for me.